everyone. I'm Heitor Pereira. Hi Kaya, how you doing? We are here today to talk a little bit about what I've been doing in this last week or so. So we are releasing the Angry Birds movie on the 20th, and also we will be releasing on the 19th the documentary for Discovery Channel, and it's called The Sonic Sea, about this sound pollution in the ocean. So about real things and about real animals and about not so real animals. And that's it. I hope you enjoy it.
Well, hey Tor, thank you so much for sitting down again. It's so great to be back here with you.
Thanks for having me.
So yeah, we talked in length last time about your career from beginning to end. We did a really in-depth video. So let's just jump right into your most recent work, which is Angry Birds.
Mm-hmm.
This is not strange territory for you.
No.
An animated film. And so I was wondering, just maybe talk through your process. You've done such great work on Despicable Me and Minions and everything. But I also know you have a history with birds. And
right.
Yes, last time we talked in depth about how your passion for birds and how on vacation you're bird watching and bird listening and
right.
and how you almost were supposed to score Rio.
Uh-huh.
So now it has kind of come full circle.
Isn't
I think
it interesting?
Yeah, how it works.
Amazing.
So now you have Angry Birds, and maybe all that together. What was your approach for this film?
Quite frankly, I think I did start from a couple bird sounds.
Yeah?
I was given a long time ago by my sister this beautiful collection of bird calls, and wooden made, call, like whistles,
Mm-hmm.
and I've built a lot of like rhythms, a lot of like chords, with these whistles and then I also sampled, like woodpeckers as cowbells, as
Wow.
like I sampled like the walk of birds, on paper, on sand, the flutter of their wings, and then we've done, processed the audio, and those things became, more applicable to our score.
Mm-hmm.
So birds, as you just said, they've been something that, it's been with me, a subject that it's very close to my heart, and I find it's important that to make the connection from these birds that came from a video game.
Yeah.
Now they have from a little screen to a much bigger screen, but to always remind ourselves that they are actually inspired on real birds,
Yeah.
and what's going on with the birds out there, the real ones.
Yeah.
So to me, it's as you said, it's like a full circle.
Yeah.
For something that as a child, I was reminded by my grandfather of paying attention to,
Mm-hmm.
the birds calls and bird sounds in the early morning, or when
Right.
you're just about to go to bed in the late afternoon. And here I am, like, scoring, this journey taken by birds. And I really love it. It's a journey of a lot of passion, a lot of action, a lot of rhythm,
Right.
and to continue your, a little bit in your question, is like also a lot of bird sounds.
Right.
So it's boom. We migrated and we arrived back at home.
So for birds, the bird calls and birds are such a melodic species of animals. I mean,
Can I bring to you the thing?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay, let me bring it. Right.
So I was going to ask. Yeah, you were reading my mind, but I was about to ask. Birds are such a melodic creatures, and you're a melodic composer, which I love, and it's in your blood.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like you're just about to answer my question. I feel like you find melodies everywhere in the world.
Yes, I do. Thank God. So this is like,
oh my goodness.
The whistles that I was talking about. Originally, they were for hunting, right?
Oh,
but
wow.
because people awareness about the condition of the animals nowadays, they're dwindling, the numbers are dwindling.
Yeah.
So these calls nowadays, they are used to attract the birds so they can get closer to you, so you can photograph them, you can watch them, you can enjoy their company
Yeah.
instead of killing them.
Exactly.
You know, so I love them for this, and so they each one produce the sound of one bird. So like, you know, so you go, so let's say I put that down, and then another one comes in and right, and you keep building this stuff, and also, you know, the fact that you can process them, and some of these instruments, maybe then you say, you know what, this wow can become the clarinet lines.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So you'll kind of recast the sound in an actual more traditional instrument.
Yeah, because the motion, you know, and not every instrument has innate in itself, like, you know, this kind of like, you know, drawing, you know what I mean, like sonic drawing.
Yeah.
So, you know, let's say, for example, if this one is beautiful. Look, even like the build of it, you know, it has this wheel.
Oh wow!
So as
look
you
at that.
spin it, it alters, you know, the sound, because this thing, you know, so without it, and then
wow.
So so I would use this, I guess, sometimes, like I do. I sample also that one, and maybe I do a chord. You know, and the orchestra, the violins go.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of vibe.
Right.
So be very like playful about it. So I love the opportunity that these movies give me to become more colorful, and add all these things that weren't supposed to be musical instruments. Are here, and there's full power helping us with melodies and with, as I said, harmonies and rhythms.
Right.
So this is just like a few of, like, in the Angry Birds movie that I've transformed and adapted so it could become part of this bigger orchestra.
So yeah, you just showed us how you kind of develop those melodies and you play with them and sample them. So for something like Angry Birds or any movie, if you're doing something, do you go out and if you have the luxury of, I guess, of working on it very early, like you do with Despicable Me and Minions or Angry Birds, do you go out and find the sounds first and then see how they fit in the film, or do you look at the characters and go, okay, this character is, you know, tough, this character is soft and, you know, nice, and then you go with that information and try to find that character's sound?
Right.
So what kind of goes first, or what do you would prefer to go first if you had the time and all that stuff? Yeah.
Right. I think, you know, you said right from the word go. I tend to be, you know, melody first.
Right.
So I think I find the soul of the character more easy if I find its melody.
Yeah.
And then as I'm hearing the melody, as the character is kind of suggesting the melody to me, I hear that, you know, if it's a short sound, then I already start selecting in my head, I guess, you know, what short note instruments are there to provide me with, you know, the rendition of that idea, you know. So like Chuck's melody, you know, so and I put it straight to two trumpets, and they're very piercing, and it's played very fast, and I feel that, but it came from first the melody, very slow, you know. I'm thinking, you know, and because he's like a fast bird, right?
Yeah.
And always ahead of everything and everyone. Then sped that thing up very quick, and so in certain cues I don't even have humans playing. I have the samples of two trumpet and then altered to sound more like the spirit of Chuck himself.
Right.
And that's how maybe some of this music comes, but for the most part, definitely a melody first, like a signature,
right?
A melodical signature.
Can there be such a thing as too much melody? Can melodies clash with each other and sort of like make it almost be messy? Or, I mean, do you have to
big time, totally. And that's a good question, because I had a process on this movie, because there are so many characters. So, and I had a Red's melody, I had a Chuck melody, I had a Bomb melody, I had Matilda's melody, I have Terrence's melody, but then Chuck, Bomb, and Red go on this journey in order to find the mighty eagle that will help them to recuperate the eggs that the pigs stole.
Right.
And the eggs are everything for the birds.
Right.
So as I was trying to combine those three melodies of those three characters, I felt this is becoming a little like a cerebral exercise.
Yeah.
Other than a pleasing, entertaining thing, and I had to go there to discover that what I needed was a theme that represented there's togetherness, there's camaraderie, there's friendship, there's a need of adventure and forward thinking and moving ahead and heroism to be born out of all that. So then by coming up with a new theme, all that cacophony that was created by too many melodies going against each other, it wasn't creating like a nice counterpoint, so to speak. It was just too much information, and in doing that, it just helped me to discover that there was yet something else, one extra character hidden behind the characters that we could see, which was exactly the character of friendship, and the invisible, unspoken thing that music can elevate and make it present, even though it's not there, visually. So that's one of the things that, again, I love melodies, because they can give voice to emotion shared by different characters, even though they all have their own melodies.
Right.
So what I'm just about to play for you is a cue that represents, as I said before, the friendship, the mission of them having to go out there and save the eggs. So, and also shows a little bit using the bird calls, and the whistles that I just showed you. It's at the very beginning. So check this out. That's a little bit.
Wow, it's amazing how many textures and everything were, and they all came together to make this colorful thing come to life. It's just fascinating.
Thank you. That's what I love about this genre of music. It's it just allows me to still use the elements of music that I really love.
Right.
It's like rhythm, harmony, melodies, and on top of that, use the overall orchestra, the orchestra that welcomes maybe the sound of an airplane, the birds that we just heard, and instruments that maybe don't belong to the geography where this story is taking place,
Right.
but it doesn't matter because this is an international, global movie,
Yeah.
and people from everywhere. It's a family movie,
Right.
but it's for every family from
Every
every
part of the
place
world,
and every
yeah.
religion and everything.
Yeah.
So that's why I feel very happy about being part of this universe of animated movies. Freedom.
Freedom. So we just talked a lot about birds and,
Yes.
and melodies and color and everything. And
Uh-huh.
your other project you're working on will show a completely different side of you, I'm sure. And a side that I really love because I love your work in documentary filmmaking, and Running the Sahara was such a personal favorite of mine.
Thank you.
So this one is called Sonic Sea.
Sonic Sea.
And
yes.
it's about noise pollution in the water and the sea.
In the ocean,
So
yeah,
for the
underwater,
animals
yeah.
living in there.
Right.
So all of humans boating across the Atlantic
exactly
and all
the
that.
trading ships and how that it forms a curtain of sound that whales that could hear each other 17 miles away, 17,000 miles away.
Right.
Now they barely can hear each other 17 miles away.
Right.
Because there is so much of that sound created by the bursting of the bubbles of every rotation that a ship has. Also the sonar, and also sonic, bombing towards the surface of in order to find oil and all that kind of stuff, all things that are necessary for our progress but could be done maybe in a more caring way, so these whales don't end up dead on the beach, like we've seen so many in this last past years.
A lot of, there's dolphins, just
totally,
just thousands of them. You can't explain it. Scientists don't know what's going on.
Well, they do, and that's the beauty about Sonic Sea, is that on top of being a beautiful piece with lots of amazing original and new imagery of beautiful underwater filming of all these species of whales, it also shows that we can actually do things about it.
Right.
We can reduce that unbearable noise to almost like 90%.
Wow.
And it's something that if we all decided, that would be doing wonders to the survival of these animals, because they just can't see very far.
Yeah.
The depth, the deeper you go, the darker it becomes.
Right.
So they rely 100% on their hearing.
And sound.
So So to me, it's also something that it's very close to my heart, because I can offer my time as a musician and my services, and feel that I'm helping a production, in this case Imaginary Forces, the production company for the NRDC institution, to put out a message, and music can emphasize the emotion of this message, can do what we know music can do towards picture. Like you said, Running the Sahara, the same thing.
Yeah.
Or the arduous work of those three guys crossing North Africa. So this is what I was so honored to be part of.
And kind of knowing your style, I feel like I expect this one to be a lot more textures, a lot more atmospheric, with certain, of course, your melodic kind of undertones and stuff. And you sampled birds last time, but for Angry Birds, for this one, you actually sampled whales? I
sampled whales, I sampled dolphins, I sampled the explosions themselves, I sampled the sonar sounds. I sampled a lot of things, and they became part, an organized part, of like music itself, in a way, right? So the whales, I looked for pitches that then together they could give me chords. Then I found instruments. I looked for instruments that produce sounds like whales, like clarinet multiphonics or distortion, the feedback of guitars, no pun intended, but wailing, and all that, plus a lot of playing. I got to play a lot, instruments from all over the world to create this undercurrent, no pun intended again, that never stops.
Right.
Because these currents, keep, just going through, and crossing our continents, and these whales, they have theirs 4 or 5s. They have theirs big,
when they migrate, and
right,
they have their certain paths that they take.
The paths, yes,
the migration paths.
Right. So the freeways under the ocean,
right.
and so it's all beautiful, all in balance, and here we come and mess all this thing up.
Yeah.
But then the beauty about science is that we discover also how to reduce the suffering of these animals,
right.
and hopefully keep them alive, man.
Yeah.
So I'm a big fan of small instruments helping to convey big emotions. So here are like cavaquinhos, Brazilian instruments like steel string ukuleles, and then ukuleles themselves, and then instruments from different parts of the world, basically instruments that coincidentally all are used in coastal communities. The ukulele, in Hawaii and Portugal, the cavaquinho in Brazil, some other instruments from Senegal, and so I felt like, okay, let me create a current, a tide of like small instruments, and here it kind of comes. Melody comes along. I will play closer to So this group of whales, this pack of whales, they dance. There's ballet underwater. This is the music that I thought it would be more fitting. Very few notes.
Right.
current.
Yeah.
La da, current. Da da, really.
Right.
4 repeated phrases, and let the sounds, their sounds,
Yeah.
just be over all of this. And yeah, I love it. I hope you like it too when you have a chance to see it. It's Sonic C.
Sonic C. That's beautiful. I think. Well, I mean, I've listened to all your work. It's one of my favorite stuff that I've heard from you, actually.
Thank you.
It's very beautiful, and a lot of people will confuse or say something is simple, so it's not, worth. If it's simple, it's bad. But I think there's beauty in simplicity, and I think by finding those few notes that really work, you were able, exactly, saying a lot with a little. Doing,
right.
Yeah, doing a lot with a few notes.
Right.
Yeah.
And then because I didn't want to leave the documentary on a sour note, I felt that I should write a melody that represented the hope, because these documentaries are made so people become more aware of the issues,
The problem, yeah.
and they can do something about it and pass it on to the young people, that will soon be, the heads of big, institutions that can do things about it. They will be the new politicians. They will be, the new, biologists and
Right.
all sorts of things. So the same way, then you had this majestic sound of that music, with the undercurrent of all the little instruments plus the big orchestra singing the simple long note melody above. I thought that melody, la-dum, ba-dum, 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 when the humans are talking about what they hope this will eventually become and our success will be, we save these animals. Then I had more or less the motif, done now for the humans. So it's more or less like this. Let me play for you. I will cut after a while because the melody is long.
Okay.
thank you. I think this is pretty much, I think, how we end the the documentary. You know, it's kind of like a more quiet.
It reminds me of a lullaby almost.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You said totally right, man. It's
Like you can imagine just a nurturing, almost like a motherly feel over. I don't know. That's what I'm taking from it. Like someone, feeling of your mother holding you and humming almost that
guys,
theme.
see how I love you, man, because you're so perceptive of things. You know, meanwhile, this music is playing. One of the biologists is saying that the reason she educated herself and it's part of this fight, it's because she has a daughter, you know, a young daughter, and she wants to have a beautiful noise-free ocean, you know, for her daughter to go and whale watch, you know, in hopefully in every ocean and sea around our planet. So, and I felt exactly that. It's almost like if you play this music and you see a whale and its calf.
Yeah, the calf. Yeah.
You know, just like journeying from all the way from Canada down to Baja, you know,
Yeah.
and you know all the kind of stuff that, you know, to me, it makes me so, it justifies so much more and more being a musician, because now we have more power with the notes that we put out there.
Right.
You know, so thanks for the opportunity of playing this, because as Angry Birds mean a lot to me.
Yeah.
I feel that I can use my time as a musician to be part of projects like this too, that hopefully will bring more awareness to everybody that I know care so much about the gifts
Right.
of life. Whales, birds, you know, oceans, and
the world we live in.
and music itself.
Yeah.
And movies. The kalimba, you know, or the thumb piano, it's something that I really love playing. You know, I kind of figured out my own way of playing it, and now it's part of the scores for Running the Sahara, or even earlier work, Tears of the Sun, and a couple of other movies too. Even Curious George, a long time ago, with Jack Johnson, and I scored that one, and I use it like this. So these guys become like the undercurrent of like orchestral material on top, and you know, the big orchestra, but you have this, you know, so like with beautiful overtones that, you know, they create, and and then, you know, it's like beautiful spirits in the music. And then for overtones, I also use bottles, not this guy, bottles, and because they are so bright, you know, they go. So this would be when you have the orchestra and you have everything playing, everybody playing. In the very top, you hear this. And the pitch is not very defined, which kind of opens up, you know, more possibilities for the ear and the imagination. So I love using the bottles. Very simple stuff. I'm telling you all my secrets.
What is this one here?
This I used to do drones.
For drones?
It's a very famous little thing. I think people use it a lot, but you know, I used a long time ago also in Curious George, and also maybe Despicable Me, and then I distort this a lot. But the idea is like you go like.
Wow, that's awesome.
And I record like sometimes 10 tracks. My arms go like 10 tracks of this, and this thing keeps just going. And again, it's a natural sound that when you add the orchestra to it,
right,
and it just becomes like this uneven, sound, and with its kind of crazy like imperfections, because the thing keeps making a noise as it spins. The thing.
Yeah, the wood too.
Right.
Yeah.
So I love these things because they all add personality to a score. The orchestra, it's a common denominator of so many movies out there, right? So to me, to go out there and buy these things, a lot of them actually are gifts. I just keep using them because I believe that they add originality to the music, makes it a little more special, and everybody loves a little bit more the story behind the music making, when you use these things.
What's one other thing? Maybe you got something.
I tell you what that I like. I don't play this at all, but I use it in a sample, and this is like a. It's like an ocarina.
Oh.
So. Wow. And it's really low, right? And it's really beautiful actually. And so I have this, and let me show you another one. Maybe it's too complicated. Yeah.
Yeah.
So as crazy as it may seem, again, underneath all this orchestral material and all these instruments that I played for you, something that acts very low register, and we address sometimes to the sub in the movie theater, and is this instrument that I found a long time ago at a beautiful shop here in Los Angeles called Motherland, and they specialized on selling instruments from all over Africa, and they're all handmade. And so this instrument here, check the amount of bass it has, and also you can play the sides and create some grooves. I mean, it's every moment has new music. So this is this moment's music with my friend here.
Wow, beautiful.